Okay. We are at the Connecticut Music Educators Association Conference here in Hartford, Connecticut. And Patricia Bissell is going to be presenting a session on chords that pop since Bach. Patricia has been a keyboard instructor at Gateway Community College in New Haven, Connecticut since 2004. She has authored Classroom Keyboard, Play and Create Melodies with Chords, co-published by NAFME and Rowman and Littlefield. And she has made national conference presentations and published several national journal articles in the Music Educators Journal and the American Music Teacher. She's taught K-12 music in Connecticut, suburban and inner city schools, and operated many piano studios. She received degrees in piano and composition from Peabody Conservatory and Yale University and was a Fulbright Scholar. And we welcome Patricia Bissell to our afternoon.
Thank you, Sarah. Thank you. Welcome, everyone. Thank you for coming to my presentation, Chords That Pop Since Bach. And I want to thank Hannah Fraser, our chairman, and my husband, Brett Bissell, who is the graphics creator and text editor of the book. And first of all, I want to ask, how many of you teach a beginning instrument in your classroom? Anybody? No? Okay. Trumpet,
voice.
piano? No? Okay. How many of you have keyboards in your classroom? Oh, one. Okay. Very good. When I was a child, piano was king. Everybody took piano lessons. It was the foundation for all other instruments. And it was performing, reading music, and expression of playing. Creativity was rather discouraged with my teachers. And in the 20th century, with the advent of electronic, portable, inexpensive keyboards, I was very excited when I saw them. My students introduced me to them because I thought, oh, I could have hands-on musicianship. We could enjoy making music, we could create, we could improvise, we could do some composition, as well as reading of the music. It's like when we're 2 years old, we learn how to talk and make sounds, and then we put them together. And by the time we read, we know what those sounds, or the patterns of sounds. So I built my book on that concept. And as Sarah said, it was published last year. So I would like some people to join me, and you're joining me, to do some activities from the book, Classroom Keyboard, Play and Create Melodies with Chords. So if everybody will turn to page 1. I'm just going to choose a few activities, all right? Again, these are not in sequential order. These are just taken from the book. After we go through the 7 letters and so on, I asked students to find C to the left of the 2 black keys and F to the left of the 3 black keys. Would you find C and F? Normally I would do one and the other, but I'm just putting them together. So look at your keyboard. Find C, any C, and find an F, the white key to the left of the 3 blacks. And it's wonderful on the keyboard because you can see, feel, and hear what you're doing. You're not memorizing a bunch of letter names. It's all those things. So I want you to improvise. That means make up freely. I want you to improvise C and F. Yes, and when I have the pedals with it in a large class, we have a lot of fun making beautiful sounds, C and F. Don't be afraid to play loud. I like it loud. Can you stop? Now, what you are hearing actually is very important in music. We call that a fifth. They're 5 notes apart, and then it's turned around. So you're actually having fun and learning at the same time. Could you turn to page 2, the keyboard? I'm just going to point out the word octave, means 8, of course. And so if you could find a C, we'll just do one of these. And 8 notes above or below is another C. You see that's like the men and the women singing high and low. And then I point out middle C, right beneath the
Is this middle
name.
C right here?
Yeah, no, right down there.
That one?
Right, okay. Would you turn the page to page 3? And I will just point out C position, I go through, how to hold the hands and the body and so on. And notice that your fingers are numbered in opposite directions. There are over 30 uses of numbers in music, so it can get confusing, as you know. So that's called C position, C, D, E, F, G, and I just want you to take your right hand. We're just going to have some fun with a little bit. And now we're going to turn to the next page and use that position, page 4. Pitch motion, I emphasize in the beginning. That's the direction you're going up or down. And distance, which is stepping, which I will say from key to key, or skipping every other key. You skip a key. You're training your ear, you're engaged, which I try to get my students engaged all the time so that they're hearing, feeling, and seeing these pitches. So our first pitch motion we're going to do is we're going to step up and down from key to key. Would you try your right hand at any way you can do it? Just go ahead and do it. Just step up. One, you can use fingers, numbers. Very good. Excellent, everybody. Can you stop? Okay. You notice up on the keyboard to the right is up, right? But the notes are still going to the right, but you are going to the left. And most of my beginning students miss that. They visually see one thing and they have to correct it. Now, of course, if you're playing trumpet, the sound is up and down. But on the keyboard is opposite, so that's a visual problem. So I just wanted to point that out. Number 2, pitch motion, we're going to skip. Now that is every other Y key. So you have to feel it and then play it. So place your thumb on C, and now you're going to skip up to finger 3. You feel it? You feel it? And skip up to 5. Can you do that? Very good. That's called skipping on the white keys. Now we're going to do repetition. At the bottom of that page, page 4. Let's try that. 2 C's, C, C. You feel it up to D, and so on. Okay. Okay, can you stop? I would like you now to make up or improvise any of these keys any way you want. Who knows? You may come up with something very interesting. Go ahead and just improvise on these 5 keys. Anything. Very nice. Can you stop? Now, you notice at the bottom of the page, students will go to other positions, and they're actually hearing chords, what we call chords, and ear training right from the beginning. It's to engage them and to learn what the sounds of these things are. And now let's turn to page 5, and we want to play hopefully a familiar song, When the Saints Go Marching In. This motivates students to practice. And you can follow the finger numbers, but how many of you see these skip up, step up, and step? So we're going to feel like we're 2 years old. We're learning some words. So start with me, everybody. Can you play finger 1 on C? Now you skip up to 3. You feel it? Now you step up to 4, step up to 5. And those little lines mean to hold it, okay? Now we're going to do that again with me. C. Now you skip up to 3, step up to 4, step up to 5. Hold, 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 hold. Next line. 1 again. Skip up, step up to 5. Hold. Now skip down to 3. You feel it? Skip down to what? 1. Skip up. 3 down to what? 2. Okay? Very good. I'm not going to do any more of this right now, presentation. Would you look at the bottom of the page? It says, move up to G position. Now, look at your thumb. Take your thumb and move up 5 keys from C, and you'll get a G. It's right above F. Remember, can you play G? Okay, now we're going to, do the same pattern higher. Here we go. 1, skip up, step up, step up. Very nice, stop. How many of you hear that? Okay. So doing this helps what? Ear training, finger exercise right away. All 5 fingers are used. And so we have a lot of fun with that. Would you turn the page to page 6? It's important to create music, to understand pattern. And I say repeating and contrasting pitch patterns are used to compose the parts of melodies. I've given the example of hot cross buns, okay? You see that pattern A? Pattern A, repeat it, right? Then you have a pattern what? B, back to pattern A again. So again, by creating patterns, you begin to also what? Reinforce that sense of what? Stepping and skipping. This is all I'm trying to do right in the beginning. So when we read music, what? You can apply that. Okay, so Sarah, would you give, using the letter pitches names C, D, or E, would you give me just one letter name?
D.
D, okay, I'm going to put it pattern A here. D, give me another one, Tor.
E.
E. Brett?
C.
C. And Sarah, could you give me another one?
C.
Very good. Does everybody can write it down? You don't have a pen. I put it down D, E, C, C, okay? Now I'm going to repeat it so it would help me. It would be D, what? E, C, C. Can we all play that? D, E, C, or 2, 3, 1, 1. Try that. 2, 3, 1. Now we're going to repeat that pattern. 2, 3, 1, 1, 1. Now, I need something different. I like a contrast. So, give me another pattern, starting with Brett, using either C, D, or E, or one of them, whatever. Give me one pitch.
E.
E. E. Sarah, give me another one.
D.
D. Tor, give me another one.
D.
E, D, D.
C.
E, D, D, C. Okay, I will call out or the finger numbers. I'll do it by finger numbers. Okay. And then we're going to repeat A, which is D, E, C, C. So I'll call out the finger numbers. Okay, or D, E, C, C is our pattern A. Finger 2. Play finger 2. Finger 3. 1. Repeat 1. 1. Now we're going to repeat that whole thing. Finger 2 on D, 3 on E, 1 on C. Wonderful. Now the new pattern is E, which is 3, 2 on D, 2 on D, 1 on C. The last, we're going to repeat the A is D2, up to 3, down to C. Thank you very much. Your original song. It's modeled after hot cross buns, which is what we call pattern A, pattern A, pattern B, and A. And I have students, each one of them give a letter name, and that way everybody hopefully feels involved in it. And you can take this home and write some more using CDE. There's a lot you can do with CDE or other notes, but you're showing repetition and contrast. And as you can see in notation, learning, stepping, and skipping well is that you see it in notation. It's reflected in how many of you see the word repeat, skip. So we'll just do a few notes of this with me. Can you play 1 on C? Now you're going to repeat that note. You see that? Repeat. Now it's going to skip up to finger 3, E, repeat. Oh, very good. You see how that relates to your reading. You're not just memorizing a bunch of letter names, but you're hopefully what? Saying, where am I going, right? And also you can play, this is a 3-note pitch song. You can play it, for example, in another position. Could you put your thumb, look at your thumb, and put it on F? Put it on F. Okay, I'm going to call out the motion. Play F. Repeat that key. Now skip up. Okay, that's fine. You get the idea? You can play this, although it's notated a certain place, you can what? Change the position. And I'm getting students prepared to change keys. But it's important to get each concept well. Okay? And then in my course, we learn basic rhythms and, in this position, how to play. You told me you had problems with rhythm. We learn how to read rhythms with each melody that I give them. So now we're ready, everybody. We're ready for about lesson 10, I think this is. Let's look at page 7. Distance and direction can be understood as interval through something called the overtones. When you hear a pitch, you can read it, or vibrations of a string, other pitches are being sounded at the same time, and they're so soft we don't hear them. That's why you can, if you can play by ear. Do any of you play by ear? No? Okay. You can hear what works together, okay? And so this is a great way to understand intervals. There's a definition of intervals. The distances between two pitches. It could be, higher or lower. And to name that distance, you count each letter name. So we've already done the octave, but let's play low C. Can you play a low C? That's fine. Okay, when that string is vibrating, that main fundamental tone is also vibrating in half. If I had a guitar, I could show it here. Okay, let's play C an octave above. It's an octave, right? It just almost sounds the same, doesn't it? And that's mathematically twice the vibration. When you have a third of a string, the next overtone is what?
Fifth.
What's the letter name? You see there, it's a G. From C to G is called, it's 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's called a fifth. This is the foundation of our music, traditional music. And I want you to play a fifth. C to G. Can you play C to G? And you can move your hand up. Tor, you can move your hand up. Yeah. And you can play it louder if you like. Okay. Fine. I want you to improvise on that, C, G. Feel it? Fifth. We're doing up. We're going up from C, 5, okay? And so then students can improvise the fifth on the white keys. They can use it with a different sound, with a different timbre. They can use it for composition. If I had time, I'd like to have a whole composition with this on the white keys. It's amazing what students can do of any age. And they have a lot of fun with this. So then you have a fourth is from G to what? G to C. C to E is what? 1, 2, 3. Now, when you, when you sound at one fundamental pitch, it produces a chord that we don't hear, basically. It's so light. So C, E, G forms C chord. Could you play C, E, G? Can you play those 3 keys together? Can you play it at the same time? Very good, okay. And then you can see how these intervals or distances are reflected in the music composition, notation. At the bottom of the page 7, you see that? Mm-hmm. You count each line and you count each space. Wonderful thing about the keyboard is that it was up on its side. It matches the line space that you have here. Okay, everybody, are we ready for chords? Page 8. Chords can be understood as intervals using the white keys. They include 3 or more pitches, and you've heard of chords. They provide what? Harmony to a melody. And they're built and named after what we call the, what is it? Root. No, root. The other pitches in these chords skip. Now we can say by thirds instead of skip. So everybody just take your right hand. We'll just do some. Here we go. Play with me. 1 on C, 3 on E, 5 on G. It's building blocks, third plus a third. That's C chord. Isn't that beautiful? A beautiful sound. And we can play it together. Hopefully most students can do this. Or we can break it up any way. So play it broken, 1 note at a time. Kumbaya, Michael Rowe. I can't think of 100 songs to begin with just those 3 notes, C, E, G. Now, notice the graph there. It shows what's the next chord under C chord. It is what?
D.
D chord.
minor.
So move the thumb up one key. Now you're going to have the same pattern like a cookie cutter at Christmas, right? Different kind of cookie. Let's play 1, 3, 5. You can look at your keyboard too, if you want to feel it. That's a different sound. It's a D. I'm going to call it a D chord now. And let's move up one more, and then that's it. E. Okay. Those are called what? Chords, and you have them from the root. You skip up, or now we can call it a third plus a third. And you can see in notation that it's stacked up. You see that? Just the way you play it. So again, you have exercise and you're training at the same time before you're really, reading a lot of music. Chord progressions are simply what? A particular group or sequence of chords. And I'm going to have you just try these chords first and find them on the keyboard. Let's play C, E, G. Feel that? Now look at your hand. Move that thumb up to F, which is right below, here we go, F, A, C. And move one key up and you'll get a G, B, D. And you notice I'm using letter names now. Okay, that's it. Okay, we're going to play a very common chord progression. It's called C, F, C, G, C. Do you see where I've written that? C to F to C to G to C. We're just going to play around with this a little bit. This is called the swing and skips. I don't know if we'll be able to swing it, but we're going to start off just basic, okay? There are 6 parts. How many of you see part 1? C position, okay? We're going to play C, E, G set broken, one note pitch at a time, slowly, and say it with me. C, here we go, C, here we go, C, skip to what? E, skip to G. And can you say the word skip with me? Here we go. C, skip to E, skip to G. Repeat. C, skip to E, skip to G. Again. C, skip to E, skip to G. C, skip to E, G. Very nice. And you do it another time, but we'll let that go for now. And then part 3, we go up to F position. Put your thumb on F. Fingers 1, 3, 5 again. With me, say F, skip, A, skip to C. Again, say it with me. F, skip to A, skip to C. Beautiful. F, skip to A, skip to C. F, skip to A, skip to C. And then you go back to C. Are you ready? C, skip to E, skip to G, and so on. Okay. And then part 5, where do you go? G. Thumb goes up 5 keys to G, okay? It's like a self-cleaning oven, right? It's a self-practicing piece. Here we go. Say it with me. G, skip to B, skip to D. Say it with me. G, skip to B, skip to G. G, skip to B, skip to D. And you pause, and then you go back to what? C. Oh, very good class. Okay, stop. Please. Now, in music school, we always practice things. And then, try different rhythms. So, for me, a swing rhythm is like the words Humpty Dumpty. So, could everybody practice saying Humpty Dumpty with me? Humpty Dumpty. Don't play, please. Here we go. Let's just play. Humpty Dumpty, Humpty. Feel it? Long, short, long, short. You feel it? Humpty Dumpty. Now, let's see if there's anybody in the class that can play this pattern with a long, short pattern. Now watch out. After G, you always go back to C. And I'm just going to try a little bit of it, like this. I should try it slower. I'm going to try it slower. Hear it? Okay, try it on your own. Long, short, just the E, G. Almost. Try it. Oh, very good over here. Okay? I usually have 1 or 2 students that can do it. you know, they listen to a lot of music, and can do that long, short pattern. Long. Okay, very close, very good, okay? And so then we have fun with that, and of course they do it with their left hand, hands together, and we do it several lessons, so by that time, their ears, they can hear it, they can feel it, that skipping is, and even the letter names, you know, such. Okay, and then I ask them, can you make up your own chord progression? Look at your keyboard. You can start with C and go to D and come back to C. Go ahead, let's see if you can make up any chord progression. That is your own, just from the root. Isn't that fun? You don't have to read any music, you're just getting a feeling of the chords. Okay, everybody, we'll continue, all right? Turn to page 10. It's important to understand chord structure so that you can play chords in one hand position. It's one of the most difficult things is to change hands on this keyboard, you know. And so we learn chord structure so we what? We'll have a more natural way of playing them. And now we can call chords, can be described as a root, you see where I am, plus a third plus a, you could call it a third and a third, or a third and a fifth. We're going to keep on C, E, G. Okay, yeah. And I don't spend much time with this. I'll ask questions. For example, in a C chord, what is the same pitch? It's like a family. Okay, what's the same? What is the repeated pitch from the F to the C chord?
C.
There's a C, okay? What is repeated pitch from the C chord to the G chord? The G, okay? I just ask questions. I don't take time in class. I wouldn't have the time in class. And now we're introduced to a new kind of chord called G7. You see that? And that simply is like a 4-layer cake. Instead of 3, you got 4. You add another skip. G, let's say the letter names, G, B, D, and F, just to make sure you know where that comes from. And if you count it, if I had time, we'd count from G up to F is how far?
7.
7. So that's why it's called G7. I like students to understand what they're doing instead of just memorizing. And you notice at the bottom of page 10, do you see that left hand? Oh, is everybody ready for the left hand? Could you take your left hand and put the little finger on a C, right below middle C, there it is. Okay, we haven't practiced this today. But how many of you can see that if you take your little finger and move it down one key, okay, to a B, okay, now move it back to a C, and the thumb is on a G, right? If you move the thumb up 1, you get A. Guess what? We can play all 7 keys without moving the hand. Isn't that wonderful? Okay, normally we would practice the left hand before this lesson, so it's a little tricky. Would you turn the page to page 11? As I said before, sliding the hand, remember when we did the swing and skips? That's very difficult to move that hand. You have to see where you're going, move the hand back. You're not even coordinating the hands, you're just what? Moving the hand. So we can play chords within one hand position when we turn chords around. I'm sorry, am I on there? Okay, I'm sorry. Turn back to page 10. Did I say page 11?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I forgot the most important thing on the page. Okay, after you see chords are related like a family, then you go to chord inversion. Now everybody, look at me. Look at me. I'm the same person, right? Doesn't matter which way, back, front, right. I'm still Pat. If you move the octaves, you can change the position of the chords. It's the same recipe, okay? Like you're making spaghetti, I don't know. A different order. And the shape is going to change. So I want you to try this with me. Let's play C, E, G again with right hand. You can do a single note, C, E, G. Okay, now look at your hand. Put your thumb on E. Put your thumb on E. Okay, second finger on G, and your little finger is going to play C, which is right here. There it is. You see the picture of it on the graph? It's no longer skip, skip. Do you notice that? Same recipe, but it's a different feeling.
Would you repeat what
Yes.
you want us to do?
Put your thumb on E, your index on G, and your little finger on C. There it is. How many of you notice that shape is different, right? It's the same recipe, right? It's a little different, right? It's like you're watching my side. Okay, and now we're going to see the other position. Look at your hand, put your thumb on a G, middle finger on a C, and little finger on an E. There it is. G, C, E. Can you play that? I know that's very challenging at this point, but you begin to feel what? They're different shapes. You can see, you can feel, you can hear it on the keyboard. And so I put that out as some of the students will practice it, okay? But it's important that you understand it. And then we go into the hand, okay, left hand.
Page 11.
Yes, turn the page. I was anxious to go to the next page, so I did not do it in the right order. Or as I said before, sliding the left hand from root to root position is difficult. So now, with the left hand, although we haven't prepared it in this short session, let us play C, E, G with the left hand. That's C chord, okay? I've got enough fingers, I can go to the right. C, skip to E, skip to G, right? Now, without moving the hand, how do I play an F chord? The C, what, repeat the C, and finger 2 or index finger is on what, F, and thumb moves up to what? A. Feel it? Can you play that? It's very good, Tor, very good. F chord, okay? How do I get there? You have repeat, up and up. Why is it F chord? It's because that root is in the middle, okay? You have a different shape. Let's go back to C chord, C, skip to E, skip to G. Okay, we're going to always go back to home, okay, gravity. Okay, now our next chord, the G7, which finger is on a G? It shows you on the graph, it's 1, or your thumb. Play a G. Your little finger is going to go down one white key to B, one white key down. You're going to leave out the D because it gets kind of muddy, and you're going to add one note below that G, which is F. Do you feel it? I use the 7th chord because usually people don't have problems playing it. To understand it, you have to go back and look at the structure. Okay, G7, and go back to C, and little finger goes up to C again. Yeah, we're going to leave out the D in there, okay? We can do it. Usually it's in the tune, in the melody. And then we're going to go back to C chord, C, C, skip to E, skip to G, or 3rd and 5th, okay? And you can see that in notation, it's reflected in notation. You see that? The distance that you're playing and so on. So once students are able to do this, and I spend a couple of lessons on this because this is challenging. But it also makes, your keyboard sounds great with this. Can you turn the page 12? And we'll do as much as we can. To understand how to play a melody with accompaniment, you can use lead sheets. That's a great way of doing this. You get coordination practice, understanding of music. Again, you're training, I'd say that. And again, I talked about chords and they bring harmony and a fuller sound, and it's called accompaniment. A melody with a chord symbol named above the treble staff is called a lead sheet. Do you see that? It's also called a chart.
On the bottom of the page.
At the bottom of the page, okay. Fake books are collections of these lead sheets. And we can have a lot of enjoyment of using chord symbols. Now, I've given you hot cross buns with notated chords. We're not going to play it. That's how it looks in notation. Can we read that left hand? What is the C chord? Read it with me. C, what? E, G. I've written it out, okay? And then the G7 is what? B, F, and G. Now, again, this is a self-practicing piece. If you do one measure, you've got the whole song, okay? This would be the next step, coordinate chords with a melody. Oh, beautiful, Tor. Okay, let's look down at the bottom. How many of you see the hot cross buns, okay? Let's read the chord symbols first. Well, the first, you have a 3 and an E. Do you see that? I always give that for the right hand. That's the finger number. We're not going to play that now. We're just going to look at the letter name beneath it, which is C. Do you see that? C. Just let's read the letter names, the chord symbols. C, G7, C. And I've given it a star there to help beginning students that they're going to play. You're going to repeat that chord again. Okay. Then you have another C, and then you have a G. What?
7.
G7 back to
C.
C. NC means no chord is to be played. You see that NC? Then you come to the last measure, hot cross buns, and what chords do you have? C to what? G7, C. It's the same thing, okay? And what I'm doing is like matching your shirt or your blouse and your pants. You're trying to coordinate, match, and that's what we're trying to do. And I want to point out that the chord remains in effect until a new chord is written, and I say generally beat 1 we play it on because that's your strong beat. Okay, everybody, let's turn to 13. Of course, all this takes several weeks to coordinate and practice. At page 13, I always insist that students do this before they even try to read chord symbols. Can you coordinate the hands? Some people have a lot of trouble. And generally speaking, about 80% of my class can do this. And especially if they practice, they can do it well. So what we're going to do, if you cannot play all 3 notes, you're going to play the most important note, which is the what?
Root.
The root note. Okay? Yeah. And that's fine. Okay, so first of all, take your left hand, and we're going to play C, E, G if you can. Okay, just play it and hold it. And with the right hand, you're going to play single notes called melodic patterns, 1 note at a time or 1 pitch at a time, in that same position, an octave up. So play the chord, C, E, G. Now with the right hand, let's see you go from key to key. Just make up anything. You feel it? You feel the, and only C to E, F, G. We're not going, no, just C to E, F, G in the right hand. Later on we can do, just cover these 5 keys, right? Excuse me. Yeah, okay. You play the chord in the left hand, and then in the right hand, play C to E, F, G, or any version of that. You feel it? You're getting coordination, aren't you? Those 2 hands, okay? Very good. Now, if we go to F chord, I'm going to repeat the C and go to what? F. And the thumb moves up to A. Okay, we haven't practiced this, so you're just doing it. Okay, you play that chord. There it is. See if there it is. And with the right hand, try to match it. Play a C. You can play actually any key is fine. You find it matching? It matches, right? Or you can add some other tones that don't match too, if you like. There's no right or wrong when we do this. And back to C again. And you improvise them in the right hand, improvise the melody. Okay. And our last chord, and I'll show you how to do it. The G7, thumb is on a G, right? Play your thumb. Little finger goes down, 1 key to be. Leave out that D because it's, again, too muddy. And add the F. And that's the G7. And with the right hand, find a matching tone of those 5 notes. What do you think? That's okay. C is different, but that's all right. Try a D. Does the D look nice? Does it sound nice? Okay. Very good, everybody. So when you're able to coordinate, then you're what? ready to do what? A melody with chord symbols. So look at Old Arcs and Movern is one of my first melodies. I do, and I do it in different keys also, because it's all quarter notes. And what are the chord symbols on the Old Arcs Movern? 1-C means that's the right hand. I always give that beginning note because I don't want a student to go home and say, I didn't know where to start. Can you read the chord symbols for me?
C.
C to what?
G7.
G7 to C. C,
C.
okay, G7, C. Okay, I don't even have an F chord in that. Now, of course, we've been reading, melodies and so on up to this point. We haven't done that here. So then we have Ode to Joy, and what it starts on right hand, third finger E. And then what's the chord symbol under it? C, and then I've given you my own sign, that just a star there to repeat it. And at the end of the line, you play a what?
G7.
G7. Then the next line, you have what? C, and so on. Okay, so why don't you try? Do you want to try Old Arc? Maybe one measure? Just one measure. How about that? Of Old Arc. The right hand is going to be what? What's the first note in the right hand?
C.
C, and you're going to play a chord with it. Excellent, stop, that's fine, okay? You want to try it again? Here we go, once more, here we go. You're reading a melody, right? With a C chord using the symbol. Here we go. C plus a C chord, C. Right hand skip up to 3. And then if you have time to practice, you'll go on to a G7 chord, okay? Ode to Joy, are you familiar with that?
Yeah.
I just heard it in the orchestra concert here. Okay, can we all try just a few notes of that with the right hand? You start on finger what?
3.
3. This is all same position. Try finger 3. E, 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 up, up. When I say up, I mean just step up. Try it again. E, repeat, step up to 4, step up to 5, and so on. Okay, I'm going to stop there. Now let's see if you can add the C chord, and you're going to feel from the left to the right hand. Okay? That's it. Very good. Okay, go ahead at your own speed and just try a little coordination. Thank you very much. I'll stop there because you get the idea. You're ready to go home and practice, right? Okay. We have one more thing. It's called, again, More Distance and Direction. And this is much later, by the way. They've gone through melodies in this position because they're trying to understand rhythm. And that's a challenge. So we have half and whole steps. Everybody's heard this, right? I'm sorry. Right? I play that shark theme. Everybody knows that one. Half a step is what? From key to what?
Key.
I'm at page 14. Key. White or black? Okay, you notice the blacks, the 5 blacks are up higher. So can you play a C? Anyway, now you're going to go up to that next key, which is a black key. Okay, feel it? I'm not going to call it any name now. It's just what? It could be purple, right? Or chartreuse or blue. It's the next key up. You see that? Go on, try some half steps. These are harder to hear because they're closer together. We have 12 of them. Excellent, okay. Can you stop? Now, whole steps are what? Is
White key.
every other key black or white. So here we go, let's play a C. A whole step up would be to a D. You feel that? There's a key between. You notice there's a key between to E, but watch out, from E to F is what? Again, that's a half a step. White keys, E to F. That's a half.
Okay.
E to F, Brett. Okay, and so on. Okay. And these are called, you probably know, the sharp and the flat, okay? That's what their names are. They can have 2 names, like I know some people are named Mary Jane, same person. They have two names. They can either be a sharp, which is a half step above the letter M. Can you play C sharp? It's a black key. It can be called C sharp, or below D, it'll be called what?
E
D flat, like a flat tire, okay. So, and there's the notation of them. Do you see it? You see the flat sign? That means that's a black key. And there's, when you want to cancel it, you put a natural sign, okay? Shall we try a blues? If I go over on the other keyboard, look at page 15. Every new concept I like to use in an enjoyable way, in a way that will motivate students. This is called the pentatonic, meaning 5-note scale. I get into that later in the course. And you can just punch out the keys. There's a B flat, that black key below B was right here. Okay? Now your put your thumb on C. Okay, C, put your thumb on C. Yeah. You can play at any fingering. And now I want an E flat. Feel that? C, D flat. Then I go up to F and G. It's almost like the C, D, E, F, G that we've been doing. Okay, don't worry about the B flat, okay? We're gonna let that go for now. Put your thumb on a C, just like we've been playing. Everybody, here we go. Could everybody put your thumb on a middle C? Here we go. Let's just play these 4 notes. C, third finger on E flat, fourth finger on F, fifth finger on G. Just go back and forth with that until you feel comfortable. Do you feel that E flat? Yeah, it depends on the class. You know, I try these 4 pitches. Okay, and then I usually have one in the class that can add the B flat. These are patterns that I've taken from YouTube, from blues singers, and we can try some of those on your own. I'll call out the fingers: 1 on C, 1, 3 on B flat, E flat, up to F, no E natural, and up to F. There it is. Back to E flat, down to C. Okay. Now what I want you to do, I'm not going to do the rest of them. I want you to look at your hand. I want you to improvise on those 4 pitches. Any way you do it is fine. C, 1, 3 on the black key, E flat, 4 on F, 5 on G, just like we've been doing. Just go ahead and have your own free time. I'm going to come around and see how you're doing it. Very nice, Sarah. Okay, can you get a feeling of those 4 keys? And then, if you could do Humpty Dumpty and the swing and skips, you can swing this a little bit. Dum, ba, bum, ba, ba. Try it. Try it in a swing pattern. That's fine, if you can, okay? And usually I have 1 or 2 in the class that can what? Can hear this and can do it. And I'll say, will you play would you improvise that as we play a blues? This is a 12-bar blues. There are other scales, there are other blues notes, there are other patterns. This is a very simple early kind of blues. And the right hand improvises while the left hand plays what chord? The bottom. What's the first chord? I've spelled it out. C chord, right? Okay, how many measures do we have of C chord?
4.
4, yeah, 4. If you can't play the whole chord, you just what? Play the note C. And you're going to play it 16 times, okay, if you can do it. Then you're going to change to what chord?
F.
F chord. And you always prepare, at least play the F. How many measures?
2.
2 measures. Then you go back to what?
C.
You get a lot of practice in your chord. And then at the bottom of the page you have G7. Play just the note, the key G. Okay. And you go back to what? C. Okay. I'm going to play it with you. I will be on this keyboard. Let's practice just the chords first, everybody. And then Sarah, would you like to improvise the high part the second time? We're just going to practice the chords now. Okay?
Are we doing major chords and then the minor pentatonic above it?
Yes.
Okay.
Minor third, okay. Those 4 keys are just fine, that we did C flat, okay.
Right.
But we're gonna just try the chords first, everybody, okay? So how many, 4 measures, right? 16 times C chord, are you ready? Let's just practice. 1, it would help if I turned my keyboard on. Are you ready? And you can tap your foot and keep a nice speed, here we go, and C, 2, 3, now we're on a beat. Let's do it slower like this. 1, 2, 3. Are you ready? Let's try. 1, 2, 3. Again. 4. C, C, C. The same thing again. 1, 2, 3. Again. C. Now get ready. F chord. You have it. See F it. 2. F chord. F chord. Back to C chord again. C, just play the 2, 3. Again, 1. Now get ready for G7 chord. Play the G, G, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Back to C chord. 1. Okay, I think I'm going too fast. Am I going too fast? A little fast. Okay. Like when you're turning a corner, you're driving a car, you always look ahead, right? You know where you're going, so you have to prepare that. So when you practice it and you know it really well, then you can get it. Okay. Okay. So we will be playing chords, and Sarah, if you will put your keyboard volume a little louder, and anything you do is fine. Okay. Do you mind?
Yeah, with the minor pentatonic.
We don't have to do the whole blues. We'll just do some of it. Okay.
The kids love
It's nice
to
to have
improvise
a
like this.
pedal on here. So, are you ready, everybody? I'm going to give you 4 beats. 1, 2, 3. Play C chord. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. Okay, stop. I'd like to. Could you do a little louder? And we're going to be soft. Well, no. Okay. But we're going to try to keep the beat, okay? 1, 2. Are you ready, Tor? I'm going to give you 4. 1. No, wait. 1, 2, 3. Play. Chord. C chord. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 2, 3. Good. 4 again. F chord. C F it. C chord, 8 times. 2, 4, 2, 2, 3. G7. 2, 2. C chord, 8 times. 1, 2, 3. Thank you, everybody.
Kids love to improvise.
You clap for yourselves. And that's the end of my presentation. And thank you very much for coming and enjoying
All right, thank
making
you.
music activities with me. Okay.